Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to share with you K2 Writing Essentials by April Thomas, co-teacher in Read 5111. So far in our module, you've learned quite a bit about interactive writing and shared writing. So today I want to share with you more K2 essentials for writing instruction. Independent writing. During this time, students work as writers, planning their writing or actually writing. And this is a time for teachers to confer with individual students. And independent writing is definitely different than interactive and shared writing. It is exactly what it says. It is independent writing. Students are at their desks with their materials and they are writing without the teacher's assistance. This is an example of what independent writing looks like. The students have their notebooks or their paper, and they are actually writing, composing the text that they would enjoy writing based on a topic, or they may have a free writing time. And free writing means they can just write on a topic that they are very comfortable with writing about. Independent writing. It is important to establish routines and expectations and procedures during your independent writing time. You want to make sure that you have a special place for the students to sit in the K2 classroom. They may sit at their desk or they may sit on the carpet, on a bean bag, or next to a neighbor in the classroom, meaning a student in the classroom, that is. And you also want to establish what materials they will use. Will they have their own notebook or use sheets of paper that are designated at a table, markers, pencils, crayon? You want to make sure that all those materials are established prior to your independent writing time. When to begin? Do you have a set time in your schedule that allows writing time to happen when it's independent writing? Do you have a rotation, such as a workstation rotation system that allows students to switch to their independent writing time? Is it 30 minutes during the day? Students need to know exactly when is it independent writing time. And what do they do with their writing? Do they keep it in their desk? Do they share it with a friend? Do they wait until it's a time to talk to you about it? Do they make it into a book? So you may want to have some directions that let them know how to share their writing when they're finished and where to keep it when they are finished with their writing. So the materials, placement, where they sit, all of those routines and expectations are so important during your independent writing time. And what happens during independent writing time? Unlike interactive writing and shared writing, this is a time to promote fluency. So students are really doing having an opportunity to write, to have an opportunity to have self-expression, and then also to promote fluency. You want to make sure that they are connecting to the reading and writing connection. They may use mentor text during this time, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then you also want to expose them to a wide variety of genres when they are writing, and then also how to share with their peers. Two good questions. What can I write with my students during shared and interactive writing? And what can my students write during independent writing? Well, I have a host of opportunities that you can use during these times. So, writing genres, you can have your students to engage in narratives. And in some of our previous videos, you saw teachers having their shared writing or interactive writing experiences with their students, and they may have created some type of story. So, these are some ideas that you can use in your classroom if you want to include narratives. So they can write adventure stories, or you can write with them, or they can write independently biographies, mysteries, experience stories, letters, short stories, story retellings. There are so many opportunities for writing when it comes to narratives. Let's take a look at another. Expressive writing. This is journal writing, like we saw the other children in the previous slide. They can write songs and poetry. Alliteration is great for them, acronyms, different things like that. It's a lot of fun for them to get a chance to write during expressive writing time, during independent writing, or any other writing time. Functional writing. You can have recipes written, rules, travel directions, game directions, instructions, how to manuals, and survival manuals as well. Informative. You can have those all about books, like books that tell all about the letter M, stories that are written on sheets of paper or on whiteboards that talk all about different animals. And when I say books, you can actually take these writings and make them into books. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But there's also a wonderful writing strategies for kindergarten students writing information paragraphs video that you can take a look at to see that informative writing can happen in the kindergarten classroom. Descriptive writing. Again, we have those all about books or all about stories. They can write about field trips they've been on, predictions, definitions, you name it. You guys can have a wonderful time using a variety of genres. So you don't have to stick to narratives. There are many other genres that you can include in your classroom. So now we have mentor texts. Mentor texts are exactly what they are. They're just like a friend. They help you out when you're stuck on a word or you're stuck on how to begin a story. So they really help the reader or the writer move forward with their writing. So, with mentor texts, they are books that are used to model good writing skills and practices. So, I have a few examples of books that you can use. And then also, there are some videos that you can watch as well. So, how are mentor texts used? So, for example, if you have a student who's stuck on how to begin their writing, and you can say to that student, well, I read the story last week, Cinderella, and it began with Once Upon a Time. You can use that as a way to begin your story. Take that student over to that bookshelf, pull off the Cinderella book, open it up, and show the student Once Upon a Time. This is what the words say, and this is how you spell it. Allow the student to take that book back to their desk and to transfer that writing that they see onto their paper. And before you know it, they'll know how to spell once upon a time, or maybe they'll flip to that page in their writing journal and use once upon a time. So that's another way that you can use mentor text. It can help students with the beginning of their stories. They can also help them with different vocabulary words that may be in a book. If it's the word like meteorologist and the student is stuck on their weather story, you can go and get that book that has meteorologist in it, and the student can just spell it right on out. Mentor texts are wonderful. So these are some videos for you to watch. What else do we need in our classroom? We definitely need word walls. What are word walls? Well, they are bulletin boards and classroom wall spaces that is composed of an organized collection of words in alphabetical order. And these words are often written or typed in large print on index cards or paper cards. And they are typically Dolch or fry words. These words can be seen from many angles in the classroom. So, for example, if you have your word wall on the right or the left side of your classroom, children are on the opposite side of the classroom. You don't want teeny tiny words up. You want the words to be at a nice size so that where the students are, they can look over and see those words from many angles in the room. And then also they can walk up to it and see it. So it needs to be very visible. I have an article in here for you guys to read, Building a Better Word Wall. So I have a little bit of history as well about where Dolch words came from and where fry words have come from. And this is an example of what a word wall can look like. And do you see how it's alphabetized? And then sometimes they are in, like the teachers will move the E words. If it's a second grade class, they'll put all of the E words in alphabetical order. The teacher will continue to move them. And then these colors probably represent the week in which they learn the words. And, there are many other ways that you can be creative with your word wall. I used to use colors. I had index cards, and I would make the words orange that we learned. And then the next set of words we learned, I would write them in blue. So it had a color code system. Or maybe it was one of my groups. The words were by group. So if my bluebirds learned a particular set of Dutch words, I would write their words in blue. And if the red birds learned a particular set of sight words, I would write their words in red. And then as time goes on, I can say, remember, bluebirds had those words, boys and girls. Now it's your turn, redbirds, to have the bluebirds as words. So it can be a lot of fun. And then also have children to be highly engaged in going to that word wall and actually using it. It's not up for decoration. It's as if you have a spelling dictionary on the wall. It's so important in a K-2 classroom. Teacher and student books. Your writings can turn into books. And I talked about that a little bit earlier when I said that you can make books. So you can use Book Creator at www.bookcreator.com. And this is an opportunity for you to take that writing that you've written with students and then put it into this electronic platform, and you can choose images and include it into your book, and it's just wonderful. Kids love it. And then also you can have kids to take their writing, whether it's your interactive writing, your shared writing, or the independent writing. It can be placed into Book Creator. Put a sentence on a page, find an image from Google and give it a nice title, and you have your own electronic book. Awesome. So sign up for Book Creator when you have an opportunity to do so. Or what you can do is have sheets of paper, write a sentence on each page, or you can type it, illustrate it, staple it, and now you have a book. Or you can use a bookbinding machine. You don't have to staple it. So, what do we do for our diverse student writers? And those diverse student writers are our L students, our EC, and our underserved population of students, students from Title I urban and rural school communities. When it comes to these students, we want to make sure that we provide ample opportunities for them to be successful during the writing instruction time. So, how to help our diverse students during writing instruction? One thing is that we want to learn what they can do and build on their strengths. And that's going to call for some conference time. We're going to have to work with those students at the table and have some private one on one sessions to find out exactly what our diverse students can do. Have small group writing instruction time, have high expectations for their performance, make personal dictionaries with the students, similar to the word walls. Just have sheets of paper, label them. Page one is page A. Page two is page B. All the A words go on the A page, all the B words go on the B page. But you just don't randomly put those words on the page. You put those words on the page as the students learn those words. That's the most important part. You just don't want to give them a book full of words as they learn and encounter those words because it's more meaningful. Guide them to the word wall for writing practice. Let's say, come on, Johnny, let's go over to the word wall and find the word make. Here's my pointing stick. Let's go and find it. Provide explicit writing instruction. You want to make sure that you're giving them all the information and not letting them guess around. Now, you do want them to participate, but you do want to give them some information that they can take away and use and be successful. And actually, it's those deficits that you want to be explicit about. Show them how writers write using mentor texts. You pull out that text, the snowy day. You can pull out Koala Can learns the alphabet and show those students how writing happens. Then also, you want to allow the students to share their work. Use the students' background knowledge and interests to write stories. Just don't give them a blank slate. Pull what they know. Then also you can use their language. Include their language in the stories because that will make them more interested. And you'd be surprised how many smiles you get when you ask a kid, tell me, how do you say tomato in another language? What is it written? Let's take a look at how is it written. Let's take a look at it in my on my cell phone. You really want to do those things. And then also allow them to reread their work. No one wants to write their work as a kindergarten through second grade student, and no one ever hears it. So allow some time for them to read and reread it and share. And then also empower the students through their writing. Let them know that they have a voice and what's in their head can be written on paper. If they love baseball, this is a time to write about baseball. If they love soccer, this is a time to write about those things. All right, and our final takeaway, everyone. So now that you have viewed the presentation, compose and post your final takeaway about writing instruction in the K2 setting on the discussion board. What will writing instruction look like in your K2 classroom? And respond to at least one peer. What will writing instruction look like in your K2 classroom? Thank you so much for your time, everyone. It has been a pleasure creating this module so that you all can have many resources to take back to your classrooms, and then also think about how these opportunities can be used in the virtual setting as well. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day. Bye.